Hi, welcome to my channel. This is Lies and Logic, and I'm Matt Garrett. So it looks like Doug Ford over in Ontario has issued a win for his province. He is closing 10 of 17 safe consumption sites due to their close proximity to schools and childcare centers.
Well, you know something? I just don't believe these safe consumption sites. I've listened to the people in the neighborhoods. I've consulted with them. I've been getting endless phone calls about needles being in the parks, needles being by the schools and by the daycare. That's unacceptable. What we believe in these heart hubs is we're putting $378 million into supporting people with primary care, mental health services, addiction care and support, social services, employment support, shelter and transition beds, supportive housing, and other supplies and services, including naloxone and on-site showers. Giving someone, an addict, a place to do their injections, we haven't seen it get better. This was supposed to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's the worst thing that could ever happen to a community to have one of these safe injection sites in their neighborhood. The other problem I have was with the federal government. You know, Safe Supply. They get to go up there and get endless amounts of drugs. And guess what they do? They go out and they sell it and get other people addicted. And then they go and get even stronger drugs. But as far as I'm concerned, the federal government's the biggest drug dealer in the entire country. It's unacceptable. It needs to stop. We need to get rid of Safe Supply. We need to put money into treatment, detox beds. That's what we need to do, not continue to giving people free drugs. And I was just wondering how you would feel if I stuck one of these beside your house. You wouldn't like it. Matter of fact, I know you wouldn't like it, neither would your neighbors and neither would anyone else. And all the kids, they shouldn't be by schools. They shouldn't be by daycares. And we're going to put more money in for these heart hubs that are going to support people the right way, not give them a free place where all the drug dealers live. And in Leslieville, endless calls nonstop on my cell phone about thank you for doing this. And we are going to support these people that have issues and addictions. We're going to support them better than ever before.
This is a sensitive topic for many, I do get that. But these sites serve to decay our society. Having these sites creates less obstacles to completely give up. It's no different than expecting an obese person to lose weight living next door to a 7-Eleven. People just teetering on the line are more likely to choose drugs with these sites available. Imagine you're a person who has struggled with drug addiction. You've been on the verge of getting your life back together. You've got a new job and you've been clean for 3 months. You met a few new sober friends and life is looking up. You're waiting at the bus stop on your way to work and you see some old friends. They tell you they're on their way to the local legal drug use site paid for by your tax dollars. You remember all the times you had there, floating through the galaxy, high as fuck. Then you give your head a shake and you get on the bus and head to work. The next day your bus is late and you end up late for work. Your boss, who was giving you a shot despite their own concerns with hiring you, decides not to give you a second chance. You're fired. You get off the bus where you saw your old friends the day before and you decide, fuck it. It's just too easy to live that life. You have little reason to fear death as you know there are plenty of nurses ready to enable you to be a fucking loser. And you mosey on over to your old buddy's hangout and you rejoin the crew like not a day has passed. You're back to being a burden on society. Now what happens when you don't have a safe consumption site? Well, your drug use becomes your problem and only your problem. If you OD, whose fault is that? Could it possibly be the fault of the one who decided to put the poison in their bodies? We say parents shouldn't have to bury their children, and as sad as that is, parents should have been better themselves. If my son was to become addicted to drugs as a teenager, whose fault is that? Mine. There's definitely a complicated balance to solving this problem, and it sounds like Doug Ford has made one solid step in the right direction. But what can we expect with less of these sites? Well, seeing as though, from what I've read, these sites don't provide drugs, they just monitor use in order to prevent death. So we shouldn't be seeing any change in crime rate overall, but I imagine over time, crime in those particular areas will decline. If anything, there should be one safe consumption site next to some wasteland outside the city and funnel the zombies in that direction to keep them from destroying neighborhoods and communities. We need to stop being such ridiculous hippies here in Canada. New York created its first safe consumption site back in November of 2021, and their state and city has been imploding. Let's stop the enabling of these poor choices and push to close these community-killing sites nationwide. We need to be working towards increasing consequences for using hard drugs. That doesn't mean throwing people in jail, it just means letting people fall on their face. We could create programs that pay for themselves. For example, if we had rehab facilities that also provided goods and services where the addicts could go to get clean and work under supervision to subsidize the program's cost to the taxpayer. Have rehabilitated addicts on their way out train the addicts on their way in. If the attendees break the rules, they're gone as to let someone more motivated take their place. You know, I remember when my son was a teenager, I always was confident my son would make sound choices. But I always told myself if somehow my son got addicted to drugs, I would take time off work and lock him in his room until he was detoxed. Does that work? Who knows? Maybe for some. But either way, I knew it was my responsibility to set him on the right path. The road to a healthy, balanced society is going to be rocky, as growing pains tend to be. But these sites reward people for their poor choices. What did people honestly expect to happen? Thanks for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe button and share this video. My channel is finally growing and it feels great to know there are people out there that think like me. This is Lies and Logic and I'm Matt Garrett. See you next time.